Hi there, boxing fans. Saturday night at Glendale, Arizona in the USA, live on the Zone, Saturday morning in our time here in South Africa. It's another question of somebody's O has got to go when two young undefeated fighters square off in the WBO and IBF World Flyweight Unification bout between Sonny Showtime Edwards from the UK and the young American Jesse Bam Rodriguez. It's a nice clash of styles, and if that interests you, stick around and let's break down the fight. Okay, so Saturday night in Arizona, we've got two fighters with very different styles. On the one hand, we've got Jesse Bam Rodriguez, the 23-year-old American who's already a two-weight world champion in descending order, and he is 18-0 with 11 knockouts. He's got a slight height and a substantial 7-inch reach advantage. And on the other hand, we've got the stick and move artist Sonny Showtime Edwards, the IBF champion, and he is 20-0, but with only 4 knockouts. Now, if we look at Sonny Edwards, this is a guy that I've always sort of maybe underestimated a little bit. He won the title in a mild upset against our own Moruti Mtalane. I thought that Sonny Edwards would be the wrong style for Moruti Mtalane, but I thought the veteran Mtalane would pull it off over the later rounds. That didn't happen. Sonny boxed the virtual masterpiece. He won the title. Then he fought former champion, former junior flyweight champion, Felix Alvarado, among other title defenses, as Muhammad Wasim as well. But Felix Alvarado, very hard, rugged, dangerous, come forward fighter. And I thought Felix Alvarado will fall behind on points, like he did, and then come on somewhere later in the fight and stop Sonny Edwards. And at one point in that fight, it kind of looked like Alvarado was on the verge of overwhelming him, and then Sonny pulled it all nice and tight together and outboxed him and boxed very nicely over the last 3 rounds of that fight, once again proving me wrong. Now, Edwards is in Arizona in the US. I would say, one could say that the crowd will definitely be pro Rodriguez. He's one of the bright young stars, and Rodriguez can bang a bit. He has 11 knockouts in his 18 outings, but he's fought at a high level. He burst on the scene when he won a vacant WBC junior bantamweight or super flyweight title against a veteran, Carlos Cuadras, scoring a knockdown and winning on points. And then he stopped the Thai tank, Wisakil Wangek or Srisaket Sorembisai, by whichever name he goes. Very rugged, strong fighter, and Bam stopped him before dropping down to flyweight. And in his last fight picked up a vacant WBO belt by beating Christian Gonzalez on points. Now, Jesse Rodriguez is a guy that can fight moving back, he can fight moving forward. I think he's slightly more comfortable moving forward. He's a very good technician. He throws every punch in the book well. He's got a good jab. I especially like his combinations and mid-range. He's very good with uppercuts coming over with hooks. And Rodriguez is also a southpaw, which is important to note as well. Now, Sonny Edwards, on the other hand, he's a stick and move specialist. Only 4 knockouts in 20 fights. The weakness is obvious. He hasn't really got any power. And to the extent that the guys walk through his shots in chasing after him. And in order to be a world champion at this level and to put together a bit of a title reign, that shows you how really good you must be at other things to make it work. And I would say Sonny Edwards has got a pair of some of the best feet in boxing. He moves really, really well, and he pivots well, and he punches very well on the pivot. And that's quite impressive there against Felix Alvarado. You know, he pivots out at an angle where Alvarado can't get him, and he throws in a few uppercuts, a right hand. Against Rodriguez with that reach disadvantage, the stick and mover usually wants a reach disadvantage, and Edwards is not going to have that. But Felix Alvarado is exactly the same height, same reach as Bam Rodriguez, and he handled Alvarado quite well on the end. Now, the other thing with Bam Rodriguez, he is a southpaw, and Sonny Edwards hasn't fought a southpaw in quite a long while, to go back to his world champion days and watch his fight against Thomas Samba, who was a local guy there in the UK, who was a southpaw. And I think what Edwards do against a southpaw, and he handles it quite well, he sometimes switch hits. He turns southpaw against a southpaw and he turns back again to land his jab and so on. So one thing that doesn't work always so well against a southpaw is the jab. But Sonny Edwards' jab didn't work so very well against Felix Alvarado, because Alvarado sort of leans forwards and fights out of a semi-crouch when he comes forward. And Sonny Edwards can box perfectly well when his jab doesn't work with his other punches, hitting on the fly and stepping out or not stepping out, pivoting out at angles. So Sonny Edwards, I believe, is going to be a very, not a hard fight, but a very difficult fight for Bam Rodriguez. It's a slippery style. It's almost, I was a big Sweet Pea Whittaker fan, Pernell Whittaker in the day. Now, I'm not going to say Sonny Edwards is Whittaker. He isn't, clearly. But there are some elements that he does have. He doesn't have the level changes that Whittaker had, but there's some of that feet and those pivots. There's something vaguely reminiscent there in Sonny Edwards. And I think it's going to give Bam Rodriguez a bit of trouble, because Rodriguez in his last fight against Christian Gonzalez, he was up against a guy that moved quite a lot. I think a bit taller than Sonny Edwards and a bit more rangy. But Christian Gonzalez moved quite a lot, and Bam Rodriguez kept on chasing, and he had a bit of trouble nailing down Christian Gonzalez, and it went the distance. He won, but it wasn't his best fight. So Sonny Edwards, I think, will be able to contend with a reach disadvantage, because he's done so before against Felix Alvarado. I do think, however, that Jesse Rodriguez is the better technician. He's a better technician than Felix Alvarado to me. Alvarado is tough and rugged and awkward. Rodriguez is a better technician. He's more accurate. He places his punches a little bit better, I think. He's good on the counter. He can also pivot and punch like he did with that knockdown against Quadras. So there's that danger that Sonny Edwards is going to look out for. And then there's, of course, the judges. Bam Rodriguez is a guy they like in America. He's the guy with the upside there in Arizona. He's the guy that's more marketable to the American public. It's my perception that the American public, the American judges, like the slam, bang, blood and gore stuff more. A huge left hook is going to trump a steady stream of jabs on their cards. That's the impression that I mostly get. And I think Sonny Edwards is going to be up against it there in Glendale, Arizona, in front of a pro Bam Rodriguez crowd. And it's really is a pick'em fight. So in the comment section, guys, please comment. Please tell me who wins, Sonny Edwards or Jesse Bam Rodriguez, and why do you think so? And in the end, what must Jesse Rodriguez do to win this fight? He's got to slow down Sonny Edwards. And how do you do that? You work the body. He's done that a bit in some of his fights, but not as consistently as a guy like Felix Alvarado does. He tends to go to the head a little bit more, but Jesse Rodriguez would be well served just concentrating his punches to the body. If that doesn't work, if Sonny Edwards is too elusive, maybe hang back a bit, force Edwards a bit more to come forward to get his shots off. And then, as Edwards punch, hit him on the fly. Jesse Rodriguez's weakness sometimes is he stands too long in front of a guy like he did there against Quadras, and he took some shots for it. But I don't think it's relevant really against Sonny Edwards too much, as Edwards is not going to hurt him, but he might score points. So that is what Edwards is going to have to do. He's going to have to hit those shots and get out and pivot and get out and pivot and get out and pivot and be awkward and not get caught with something big and maybe score a knockdown. So guys, if you watch this far, please punch that like button as well. I'll appreciate that. But in the end, I think Sonny Edwards is going to have to be perfect here for at least 8 out of the 12 rounds, win it clearly. And I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to throw the punches and get out, and throw the punches and get out consistently without getting caught with some in return. Sonny Edwards has been very good, and you can see in the Alvarado fight, of smothering his opponent and stopping him from fighting on the inside. But I think that in the exchanges, at some point, Bam Rodriguez is going to catch him with something, maybe score a flash knockdown. Sonny Edwards is going to outbox him in stages, but I think Rodriguez it will once again be that question of a guy landing the fewer but the harder punches. That's what I think is going to go down in this fight. And guys, please also share the content among your boxing friends. We're trying to get this out there. But here is the thing now. Can Sonny Edwards get the decision in Glendale, Arizona? And can Bam Rodriguez pin Sonny Edwards down? To me, it's a very intriguing matchup. And I've been going this way, I've been going that way. I got it horribly wrong last weekend with the Devin Haney Regis Prograis fight. Haney's clearly great as a junior welterweight. But who wins this fight? Is it going to be Bam Rodriguez? Can he somehow stop Sonny Edwards? It's clear that he is the stronger guy to me. It's clear that he's a bigger puncher. Almost everybody is against Sonny Edwards. How well will Edwards handle the southpaw style? Because he's not fighting Esomba here. He's fighting Rodriguez. Can Rodriguez cut off the ring on Sonny Edwards? If Sonny Edwards pulls it off here against Bam Rodriguez, I think he's something really, really special in British boxing. But in the end, I think, he's not going to win clear 8 out of the 12 rounds. There's going to be some close rounds where you're going to have to pick between the snappy, pivotal counters of Sonny Edwards and a jab and a right hand here and there, and maybe a few thudding body shots from Bam Rodriguez, and maybe just as Sonny Edwards exchanges, Rodriguez pivots as well, and he catches him in the exchange and scores a knockdown, and that could just edge it over the hill for Jesse Rodriguez. So I'm going with Jesse Rodriguez here to win a close, I think, split decision that's going to leave a loser feel aggrieved. I think it's a fight that's going to be close. And I think when it's close, where the fight is taking place, given the style preference that sort of the judges have here, I don't know who the judges are. Perhaps there's a British judge also in the mix. I think Jesse Rodriguez is just going to eke it out with the harder shots, maybe a flash knockdown. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Jesse Rodriguez is going to win a split decision. That's who I'm going for. Tell me in the comment section who you're going for and why. And I'm putting my head on the block there and going with Bam Rodriguez. I think it's a very much a pick and fight. It's a good blend of styles. So tune into the zone. I think it's going to be an intriguing fight. Maybe not the blood and guts that everybody expects in certain fights. This is going to be more of a tactical fight, but I look forward to it. And guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you to all those who did. And until I see you again, remember to keep those hands up.